Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well and staying safe. In my previous session, we saw what exactly is CTS, GTS, VTS concepts in Android. Today, we will see the need for CTS, GTS, VTS test suites. Why do we need them? And if these are not done properly, what will happen? So, what will happen without these test suites? So, come on, let's get started. Need for CTS, GTS, VTS. First point, why do we need the CTS, VTS, GTS is because to ensure compatibility. These test suites are designed to verify that Android devices and software are compatible with the Android platform, Google's apps and services, and any customizations made by device manufacturers. So, without these tests, there would be no guarantee that Android device and apps would work as intended across the various Android ecosystem. How will you tell that whatever you have written customization code or app or anything, any feature, how will you tell that this feature is working correctly with the existing features on Android ecosystem? We all know Android ecosystem is very vast and there are multiple components, so, in order to make sure whatever we write is compatible with those multiple, several hundreds of components, we have to make sure we pass all these three: CTS, GTS, VTS. So, that's the point of ensuring compatibility. Next point, why exactly we need is for consistency, to maintain consistency. So CTS, GTS, VTS help maintain consistency across the Android devices. They ensure that the core Android platform and Google services are reliable and function as expected. So it's reliable and it's functioning as expected. This consistency benefits both users as well as developers as it reduces fragmentation and compatibility issues. So I hope consistency is clear. Let's move on to the next point. Application compatibility. So again, CTS, GTS in particular focus on app compatibility. We all know that, right? They help ensure that the third party apps available on the Google Play Store will work correctly on Android devices. So I write one particular application and I post it on Google Play Store. Now, how do I know the app I wrote is crashing or it's making other apps on the device not work in an intended way? I do not know, right? Because I may test on one or two devices, for example, Samsung or Lenovo phones, but I may not test on the other Android platforms. They might work in a different way. So, in order to make sure the app which I write is working on different devices. I mean, the app which I write is compatible with other apps on the device. This application compatibility, in order to check that, we need to ensure we pass all the CTS, GTS, VTS as required. So, without these tests, apps might not function as expected, leading to a poor user experience and potential app compatibility issues. Obviously, if your user experience is very, very poor, then your manufacturer will be in a great loss. Okay, so let's move on to our next point. Security. These test suites also play a crucial role in enhancing the security of Android devices by enforcing security standards and verifying that devices meet certainly security requirements. They reduce the likelihood of security vulnerabilities and risk of malicious software compromising Android devices. Okay, they make sure the whatever the piece of code we write is secure, because I can write something, some piece of code which will get all my bank details and I can easily withdraw all the money present on the user's phone wherever my app is running, right? So in order to make sure such things will not happen, in order to make sure security of your Android is maintained, we need to use these test cases. Customization verification. VTS specifically ensures that any customizations made by the device manufacturers do not negatively impact the overall Android experience. It helps verify that the hardware components and modifications meet compatible standards. Next point, why we need this three test suits is that GMS integration. So GMS is nothing but Google Mobile Services Integration. GTS is very, very important for devices that include Google apps and services. Without GTS, there would be no assurance that these services would function correctly on Android devices, which would severely limit the functionality and appeal of Android devices. So without GTS, we don't know how exactly the apps we write will work with the uh, Google provided applications. So these are the different points, whatever we saw, which will explain the very need, the important role which all this GTS, CTS, VTS play related to Android environment. Next, we'll see what happens without this CTS, GTS, VTS. It's almost the same as I explained previously, the different points, but let's go through it once again. Fragmentation. Android's fragmentation problem would likely worsen. Devices would be more likely to exhibit compatibility issues, making it challenging for developers to target the Android platforms effectively. Suppose I write one particular application which is applicable for Android 11, but I'm not testing this, I'm not undergoing the CTS, VTS, GTS test source. I directly go to the Play Store. Actually, I'm not permitted to go to the Play Store and publish my app. But if this were not there, I'm telling the hypothetical scenarios. If these test cases were not there, what would happen? I would go to Play Store, publish my app, and some user will try to install that on Android Oreo or A10. But my app I have written for A11, and that may make the app crash, or it may even harm the other functionalities of the Android devices. So, in order to avoid such scenarios, we use this GTS, VTS, CTS test cases. Next point, inconsistent user experience. Users might experience inconsistent and unreliable behavior on their Android devices, leading to frustration and reduced trust in the platform. Obviously, we don't want the user to experience these frustrations, right? So we need to take care before we release our products. We need to take care that such things will not happen in future. Security risks. We already went through this point. Security vulnerabilities might be more prevalent because device manufacturers would have more leeway to make non-standard, potentially insecure changes to Android platforms. Again, security is very, very important because we are depending on these mobile phones, we are depending on this Android phones a whole lot today, uh, from our banking to book and Ola, anywhere, book our food, everything we are depending online shopping. So the main important thing is security must be provided. App compatibility issues. We also saw this point previously. App developers would face great challenges in ensuring their apps working across various Android devices, leading to more frequent compatibility issues and poorer app ecosystem. Obviously, it's not only a problem for the users but also for the app developers. The app which they write we may not work on other devices, so they may get more and more bugs and more complaints. So in order to avoid all those, these test suits are done. Reduced attractiveness and manufacturer sorry reduced attractiveness for manufacturers. So manufacturers who want to offer Google Play and Google services on their devices might be deterred from doing so due to the lack of standardization and compatibility requirements. Obviously, if your phone is having many and many bugs, definitely no one would even look after such manufacturers. They would not like to buy such phones. So in order to make sure your and everything is under compatibility, your hardware, software, the GMS apps which you write, or any apps you post on the Play Store, in order to make sure whatever customization you're giving is not breaking the existing features. All these test cases are very, very necessary. So, in summary, CTS, GTS, VTS are very, very crucial for maintaining consistency, compatibility, and security in the Android ecosystem. They help create a more reliable and user friendly environment for both developers as well as for end users. In my previous session, we saw what is CTS, GTS, VTS. In this session, we saw what is the need for those test suits and what will happen without those test suits. So I hope these videos were informative for y'all. In my next video, we'll see where in our source code we'll find this CTS, GTS, VTS information. So stay tuned with my upcoming videos to continue learning on CTS, GTS, VTS. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you all soon in my next session. Until then, everyone, take care. Bye.